All right, welcome back. Hello. What have you been up
Hi.
to this week?
Not too much. I obviously read our ACOTAR chapters
Mm-hmm.
and I did start and I got a little over halfway through Nobody Wants This again on Netflix.
Oh, how fun.
I love it.
I
It's so
loved
good.
that show. It really is. I haven't, I can't remember if I rewatched season one before too. I think I did, but it's such an easy, light watch.
It is. You don't need much brain power to
No,
keep up.
no, and I appreciate a show like that every now and then. But it's also funny the irony of you watching it now that we've done a podcast and they
Yeah.
have a podcast. But it's really cute. I like it. I love Adam Brody anyway. That
hmm
was my main appeal. But that's fun that you're rewatching it.
Yeah, we'll
I,
see how far I get next week.
yeah. I don't remember when season 3 is supposed to come out. I'd have to look because did season 2 come out this year or was it last year? Do you remember?
Last year.
Last year, so we may be due for it soon. I don't remember, but I'm excited. We consume so much TV. I feel like I can't keep up with when stuff comes out.
It's true.
Did you read anything else this week, or did you just focus on ACOTAR?
Um, I did. I finished Daybreak by Autumn Woods, which was the
Okay,
sequel to Nightshade. So I did read, I started that on Tuesday when it came out and I got done on Wednesday.
yay!
So I got one book done before I started
Yeah,
ACOTAR.
yeah, it's been productive.
What about
We
you?
love.
What have you been up to this week?
I feel like I've done quite a bit. So I've watched 2 true crime documentaries this week already. I did the new Idaho murders one on Netflix. It's pretty intense. I mean, I know that case pretty well, but then I also watched A Toxic Love Story, which I didn't know that one. I also caught up on, I think, most of my TV shows. I'm nearly done with Ted Lasso. I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl finally, so I'm caught up with that now until the next book, and I loved it. It was fun, but I'm ready to kind of step away from that for a little bit just
Yeah.
because it's a lot and I'm ready to kind of dive into something else. I also read in an hour because it's only 150 pages, Yaga, the play to the TV show I was talking about next week. It's going to be a wild and spooky show. I'm very excited. So, I do know now why everyone said Hudson Williams is evil, and it's pretty gross. And it has nothing to do with the blue contacts. They did that just to make him look sinister, apparently, because he is human. But I think it's going to be a really fun fall show. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad that I went ahead and read the play. Then I started ACOTAR right after that. I guess I've almost read 3 books this week because I could finish ACOTAR if I wanted in the next day. But yeah, I felt productive. It was exciting. Consumed a lot and then saw Spider-Man, which we'll talk more about later.
Yeah. And I'm glad you caught up on Ted Lasso because that
Mhm.
comes back next week.
Yes, it does. So I was ready to be caught up and done, and hopefully I have some more free time today to catch up on. I want to finish Rooster as well, and I've got something else on my queue to watch that I'd like to try to knock out this weekend. I felt like I had more free time this week for some reason, and I don't know what had
Yeah.
shifted. But yeah, lots of fun things and looking forward to ACOTAR, which has been interesting. And we're going to talk more about that at the end too. That's what we're going to wrap up with, diving into the first chapters on that. But that was my week.
Yeah. Very productive.
It was productive. It was nice to get some books knocked out of the way. Well, transitioning a little bit, we're going to recap some news. A couple things that I just took note of this week. And it's funny, too, because I do have San Diego Comic-Con on here. And last week we were talking about how we feel like nothing happens at Comic-Con anymore. And then I feel like it just blew up that afternoon and evening with Marvel.
hmm
But so a couple things I caught this week, one of which you had sent to me and I hadn't seen yet was Chad Powers season 2 drops September 3rd. I am stoked for that. You still need to watch it. I think you would like
I
it.
do. I have not watched it.
Yeah, it is dumb humor and it is dumb humor at its finest. It's really fun and kind of like Nobody Wants This. They're only 30-minute episodes, give or take. So it's really easy to watch and you don't have to put a lot of thought into it, but it's pretty funny. So I'm excited that that's returning, which that's crazy that that's been a year almost as well. We had the last Spider-Man premieres happen. Zendaya's white dresses were fun. I really liked I don't remember what the dress looked like, it was white off the top of my head, but she had a full Charlotte Tilbury makeup look that I really liked. I kinda wanted to get the blush she had. So we had Spider-Man wrap up. Um, Allegedly, the Summer I Turned Pretty movie also has finished filming, but
Okay.
there's no release date right now. I'm going to assume probably next summer, assuming they keep with summer releases, but
Yeah.
I'm excited for that because I didn't feel like the finale was whole enough for me. At least going off of the book, because the book had a pretty good epilogue, and I'm assuming that's kind of what they're gonna go into with the film, but I'm excited. We are Team Conrad, just so everybody knows.
We are.
Let's see, we also had some X-Men news, so at this point, I mean, it's out there, so I feel like it's fine to say, but Sadie Sink is confirmed as Jean Grey. They are doing an
Yeah.
X-Men reboot, and then the only other confirmed casting with Samara Weaving is going to be Emma Frost, and I am freaking stoked over that. I love her. I was excited. They have other rumored people. Adam Driver is on the list I saw, but none of those have been confirmed. Um Also in Marvel news, Mahershala Ali says he's no longer starring as Blade. I'm sorry, Treva.
I know, it's so disappointing.
I wasn't surprised though that
I mean, how long can you hold a project? You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
Yeah. I was not surprised. That's a bummer because he's a great actor and I think, would have been great in that, but I don't blame him. I feel like it's every couple of months we hear a Blade delay or it's gonna start and then it doesn't. So, but I did see
yeah.
that and I was like, "Oh, no, I'm sorry, Treva."
Yeah, sad day for me.
Like we said
As
a few
as Wesley Snipes said, there's only gonna be one Blade.
It appears so. You said a couple weeks ago, "We'll never see it in our lifetime," and
No.
that is probably accurate. Let's see, on my end, I know I had mentioned to you, looks like Heated Rivalry Season 2 is getting underway. I think it starts filming in the next week. I saw some pictures of Hudson and Connor out in Toronto and got very excited over that just because it's here. This has been 8 months of my life I've been consumed in this, so I'm excited for that. They've both gotten really ripped. That's gonna be very interesting. A lot of people have joked, like, they're gonna be smashing furniture and stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be like Breaking Dawn up in there." So, yeah, they are huge, it's insane, so I'm excited to see if we get anything out of this. It's just been people have seen them out, nothing official with filming. Then lastly, something else that popped up at the very end of this week was the Wicker trailer, which I knew nothing about until it hit the timeline.
Nope. No idea.
So it's a movie with Olivia Colman, and essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, but she has a man created for her out of wicker,
Yep.
and
And it's
the
Alexander
inter-
Skarsgård.
and it's Alexander Skarsgård is the other part. So the internet's just kind of gone wild. I think I had been at work and then ran some errands. I don't remember, but next thing I knew, when I got online, it was my whole feed. In my Threads feed, I had a combination of all the Hudson and Connor pictures I was just talking about and then The Wicker. And I saw somebody say, like, my timeline is Hudson Williams and The Wicker Man. And I was like, me too. Like, what is this? But it's so funny, all of the tweets about it I saw. This is the basket of a killer, Bella, or something like that.
Mhm.
There's a lot about how the Skarsgårds always play odd roles, and then they're like,
Especially
Alex coming in,
Alex.
yeah, and hold my beer, and he's gonna be the Swicker thing. I may have a couple of them saved that I had wanted to share. Let me double check. But yeah, I don't even know what's happening with that. It's blowing up. Apparently, women are just tired of real men, so they want this wicker basket man.
The wicker basket.
Let me see. Yeah, I think it starts October 30th, so it's right at the end of the month. Oh, here was one that I thought was funny. So the picture is John Hamm on Mad Men, and he's in like a boardroom and he's got his hands up, and it says the shape of water, but instead of fish man, it's a wicker basket man.
I'm trying to
Um,
find mine.
let's see, because I know I sent you some too that were funny. Uh, there's one that says at the first screening of Wicker, and it's an old lady hurling a bra around. I honestly had not heard of this at all until the trailer happened. And
Me neither.
it
Here's one. It says, "Calm down, I'm married," and it's just a basket aisle at TJ Maxx.
Oh my gosh. Well, it has a pretty big cast too. Peter
Yeah.
Dinklage is in it.
Because I hadn't heard of it, and then I, like, asked my sister yesterday, I was like, "Have you heard of this?" And she's like, "Oh my god, you have to go watch the trailer," so I did. And I was like, "I wanna know when everyone read the script, they were like, immediately, 'Yes, get me on this movie. I have to be a part of it.'"
it's I don't even know what I'm surprised you hadn't heard of it because you like Alexander
I
Skarsgård. So I'm
do.
surprised you hadn't heard of it, but
It
it's
was a
all over
shock to
my
me and the
feed.
rest of the internet.
There's one that says opening threads today like, and it's Homer Simpson sitting at a table, then everybody around him has wicker baskets on their head.
That's what it was like for you when you logged on.
It was. I was like, what happened? Oh my gosh. Had to use a tampon with a cardboard applicator this morning, so I'm basically living the plot of Wicker. Oh
Insane.
my gosh. 2023 Barbie summer, 2024 Brat summer, 2026 basket summer.
We all need some baskets.
This is the skin of patio furniture, Bella. My gosh, so funny. My friend Lauren was the one who initially sent it to me, and she's like, "So we're gonna see this, right?" Like after we'd sent all the memes, I was like, "Obviously." October's gonna be wild, apparently.
Yeah, I guess.
I saved that for last on my list of news was The Wicker. We have to
The
put that right
wicker.
at the end.
It's
But
so funny.
yeah, I'm excited for things coming out. I'm excited as for Ryan Gosling to be Ghost Rider. That was something
Mhm.
else that happened at San Diego Comic-Con. And then we have David Johnson as Black Panther, which that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that, or the fact that they're going to make another one. I mean, I guess I thought if they would, it would be Shuri, but
Yeah, that I'm not exactly sure. From what I've been kind of told, it's kind of he's taking up the Black Panther like
mhm,
emblem, and then Shuri will still remain like queen.
yeah,
So
I'm down to roll with whatever. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I also really wasn't expecting the Ryan Gosling news either. That was a surprise, but I'm excited about it. I saw some mixed reception over it online, which was interesting. I've always liked Ghost Rider. Like, I'm just going to out myself. I went through a phase where I really liked the Nicolas Cage one growing up. And I don't know why, because I don't think it's actually a very good movie or probably not even a good Marvel adaptation, but I always liked it.
Brian's wanted to play Ghost Rider for a long time, so I'm glad
Yeah.
they gave it to him.
Mhm. Me too. Because there were other people rumored for a long time, but now, of course, that we're talking about it, I can't remember.
I
I didn't
know,
expect any of that.
didn't they want Norman Reedus to play him for a while?
Maybe. And I like Norman, but I don't think I could see him in that role, to be honest. And I know there was someone else. I mean, it'll probably come to me after we're done recording, but, the content that came out of it was funny. I like all of the ones with the Barbie clip with you have to distract Doom, and it's the
Oh
Kens
yeah.
dancing.
I don't think we'll see Ghost Rider in Doctor Doom
Oh, I don't
or
either.
in Doomsday. I don't think we'll obviously we'll see Wakanda, so we know they survive.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, I read that the MCU film slate in order is, of course, Spider-Man just came out, Avengers Doomsday, then Secret Wars, Ghost Rider in 2028, and then Black Panther 3 in 2028. So I'm with you. I don't think we're gonna see Ghost Rider in anything prior to that,
Which
which
is
is
fine.
okay. Yeah, I don't want too much at one time. And then I didn't mention it, but 2027 Secret Wars, I didn't give that date. which, I mean, looking at it, I'm like, "That's 2 years." But then again, I mean, 2026 is halfway over. You know,
Mhm.
things that I was excited about months ago that I'm like, "Oh, that's so far away." It's nearly here now. You know, time definitely flies. That was really surprising to me to get a little bit more out of Comic-Con, so I don't know, they heard us and gave us a little
They
sprinkle of
did. It
something.
always happens like that. We mention one thing and then later that day, it's like,
Yes, it really
"Surprise."
does. It's like we have some kind of psychic abilities. Cause yeah, I got off and the only thing I had cared about was the Yaga panel, which I had watched a little of, and then I watched the trailer, and then I went about my day after that, not expecting anything, and then I got on later and was like, "Oh my god, what?" So, it was a pleasant surprise. But that's my news recap for the week, just a couple little snippets here and there of some exciting things. We can transition into Spider-Man if you want.
Yeah. Last week, I didn't know when I was gonna go see it, and turns out I went opening day on Thursday.
Mhm. Yeah, she texted me maybe 30 minutes before her movie and was like, "I'm going to Spider-Man." It's like, "Now?"
Yeah, no, like, it was super, like, unexpected. I came home early from work because I was in the office, and I came home, and my sister was off, and I was like, "We should just go see Spider-Man," and she's like, "I guess, okay." So we just picked a time slot and went.
Yeah. I mean, it's glad you did because definitely by that night when I got home, spoilers were all over my feed.
I still, like, went in being like, "Okay, is it gonna be her? Is it not gonna be her?" You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I was like, "Okay." And then I wanna say it was I don't know, it was before we seen her face maybe that they were like, "Oh, she's special." And I was like, "Oh," as soon as they said she was special, I was like, "She's Jean Grey." Like, it just
Yeah, and
confirmed it for
well,
me.
and 2, after it revealed it, I mean, at first I was like, "Oh my god," you know, but then I sat and thought about it that there were rumors of her being Jean Grey for a while. The
Yeah.
other the other part that I thought she might be was, Mayday Parker. It's Peter and MJ's daughter. Like, I thought maybe from Peter 2's timeline or something. That one I wasn't really sold on. Jean Grey made more sense. But yeah, once it started dropping things, because they did a good job, I feel like, with I didn't suspect a telepath when it first started because it does look like it's some kind of I get hold on, I guess, like, spoilers, but by the time this airs, it'll have been out a week.
Yeah.
But, um, they did a good job of making it look like it was some kind of entity or possession type thing with the way the hopping between the bodies would happen, so they did a good job leading up to, "Hey, it's a telepath."
Yeah, I liked that as well, and then for, like, half the movie, she just had, like, a hood.
Mhm. It was something about her bangs too, even though I know it's, you know, set in I mean, it's set in the future for us by a couple of years, but it gave me the vibe of like the 70s X-Men, like, you know, like X-Men First Class and stuff. Like she looked cute with them, but something about it felt kind of old school in a way. But yeah, I think it'll be cool. I'm curious to see if they'll get somebody to play Scott Summers as well in her X-Men. I would assume so.
I'm interested to see if we will link her with the other X-Men. So are all the X-Men just gonna come together and we're gonna have multiple Jean Greys? We're gonna
I
have
wondered that too.
multiple.
I don't know. Yeah, because I definitely wondered that as well. And then the rest of her X-Men movie, with the exception of Samara Weaving, is all rumored. So I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if those characters will be in the movie, if those are even the actors playing them, but we'll see. But I thought about that too, if she'll tie in any way with Doomsday and Secret Wars, but we'll see. It could have just been a setup for her character and she'll come back later.
Maybe. At some point we've gotta either meet our X-Men or she's gonna get sent to a different timeline and go to their X-Men.
Mhm. It'll be interesting to see, but I liked that. I mean, even though after the fact I was like, "Oh, yeah," I mean, she was rumored to be her, it still was a good shock in a way
Yeah.
when you see her name on the paper. My theater, like, gasped at it, so that was fun that
Mine did not. Mine was just
they
like, "Oh,
didn't.
okay." No.
We had the gasp. we had cheering when the Marvel credits started, people were clapping, and then when Peter and MJ are on that roof and you don't know that MJ's possessed yet, and it looks like she remembers, people were gasping, and then when you find out it's not MJ, people were screaming, like, my theater was definitely interactive, and this is not including the annoying girls that I told you about that had theater etiquette from hell. The rest of it, like, that stuff's fun, like, people cheering and stuff, but the girls I was next to were not fun, they were terrible.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? We had a lot of your man, Frank Castle.
Yeah, I was very excited for Frank.
They did a good job with bringing essentially an R-rated character into a PG-13 movie and not
Mhm.
losing his character, if that makes sense. They definitely made him some comedic relief, but it worked well because it still felt like Frank, but they were able to tone him down but not lose the character to make him fit in a PG-13
I
movie.
I don't think John would have agreed if it was taking anything away
I
from
don't either because
Frank.
he's been very big on, especially when, they had the merger and whatnot, and you know, it was gonna be on Disney Plus. That was one of the things he was worried about was you can't make these, like, kiddie things with, it Frank in particular, but Daredevil, I also think won't work if it's toned down.
Yeah.
Thinking about the Netflix show and how, I mean, really all the Netflix Marvel shows were pretty dark, but I would say Daredevil and The Punisher were the darkest. But I thought they did a good job with making it appropriate for the rating, but still keeping his character who he is at his core.
Yeah, I
I
really liked
loved when he
that, and
put the
then
mask on.
in the hospital,
Yeah, in the hospital. It was cute.
I liked it when, he was possessed by, Jean, and he was, like, walking all, like, feminine and stuff, and, like, waving.
Yes, yes, yes. Have fun with that, Peter. And he just kept going.
That was great.
It was
I did have
good.
I had my heart rate, monitor thing go off on my Apple Watch. I sent you a photo of that. So I wanna say it happened, when Frank was trying to shoot Jean Grey and he hit Peter, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like Toby all over again, I can't handle it." So I think
Mhm.
my blood pressure, like, skyrocketed from that.
Uh-huh. That would make sense because I did wonder after I saw it what triggered it, but that would make the most sense that it was during that. It very much paralleled Peter 2 and the Green Goblin and everything from No Way Home. I am glad that both of them did not bite the dust.
Well, we'll see what happens in, Doomsday and or Secret Wars.
Mhm. Yeah, because the post credits is definitely Peter going to space,
And there's been lots of
which
talk about, him, like, passing on the mantle.
to who?
I wanna say, like, that he's just gonna, like, at least Tom is just gonna be, like, done with it, I guess, but if he's essentially passing the mantle, it could bring in Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's possible, but at the same time, Tom has been saying for a long time, I don't remember the exact quote, but if I'm still playing Spider-Man at 30, like, something's wrong. I don't remember what he said, but he is 30 now, and he is still playing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it could be that. We'll see, 'cause I don't know off the top of my head what the next Spider-Man plans are. I assumed the post credits with the Spidey tracker, which was so funny. By the way, this is like kind of going back a little bit, but when Frank was tracking him on the Spidey tracker in the car,
Yeah.
I don't know why that cracked me up, but I felt like it was setting up for him to come back in Secret Wars.
It's either that or he's going to space for Doomsday.
Yeah. One or the other. Definitely one of the Avengers movies. I saw some people theorizing that it wasn't Tom Spider-Man, that it was Andrew or Toby, but I don't really think that. I think they're probably done personally, but I don't know.
Well, rumor has it they're both slotted for Secret Wars, so because
We'll see.
I've been hearing rumors that supposedly Toby bites the dust at the beginning of Secret Wars, so
I mean,
I
as long
mean,
as it's
listen, he's the OG Spider-Man. If that happens, I might just get up and leave.
I mean, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, my first thought was, well, yes, very sad anyway, because I don't want it to be Andrew or Tom.
Well, if you're taking Toby, you've got to take the rest of them. Like, that's not
No!
fair.
Andrew's Spider-Man has suffered enough.
Listen, he's got to go. If you're getting rid of Toby Maguire, you
No.
got to get rid of Andrew Garfield.
No!
Yeah!
No, I will not allow that.
That's not your choice. You're not a writer.
It is my choice.
It's not.
He got cheated out of 3 movies.
Okay, I'm getting cheated out of Blade. Congratulations. Very sad. Anyway.
No. If anybody's got to go, it's Toby.
No, you're not killing Toby and not killing Andrew.
But we can't kill Tom either.
You can kill, you don't have to kill Tom. If you're killing Toby, you have to kill Andrew.
They're not a
You have to get rid of Peter 2 and 3.
It's not a 2-for-1.
Yes, it is. Clearly, we're losing everybody in Doomsday and or Secret Wars. I guarantee you, everyone that we love is not making it out.
We'll have nothing left.
No, we're essentially starting over.
I don't
Why do you think we have CDC? Because Jean Grey now.
I don't want to start over. I'm too old to start over. I don't like change.
That's too damn bad.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I liked the movie, though. I think, for me, I think it was Tom's best Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No Way Home is fun, and it's great because it's nostalgic, but I think as far as his own movie that didn't have, any other major characters, and I mean, I'm not saying that Hulk's not major, but you know what I mean, that it didn't have Tony, it didn't have the other Spider-Man. I think it was his best. It felt more like an old school Spider-Man with all the New York shots, which they were modeling after some of the comic covers, which was cool. This suit, I think, was his best suit, hands down. Even his humor when he would talk to the bad guys felt more like Toby and Andrew's Spider-Man, which is what Peter is in the comics and whatnot. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. I don't know if that's too generous, but I enjoyed it. I loved it. I thought it had a good soundtrack, too.
I could have done without all of the spider information, like watching it come out of its skin and stuff. That video, I was like, I'm good.
I think it's funny that Tom's Spider-Man is grossed out by that, and then Andrew and Toby's were fascinated with spiders. So I think that's a funny difference.
And I did like the reference when he was like going through his like transition or whatever. He's like, "Oh, I have webs like Peter 2 did."
Yep.
After you thought it was disgusting.
Yeah, and he goes, and Peter 2 was cool or something like that. And then when, he's trying to figure out how to shoot the organic ones, I never could catch what he was saying to make it come out. But then when he's flying with MJ and he's shooting them and he keeps saying it, like you can hear it as he's going through the city.
Yeah.
I liked that too because it definitely was a reference to the Toby ones with "Go Web Go! Fly!" all of that. So I liked all the little kind of callback things they had. This had a different director though, and definitely seen a lot of comments on that. Compared to the other ones, I think this one just nailed it.
I was disappointed we didn't get any like kind of pop up from Matt Murdock.
I was expecting
I was waiting for it.
Me too. And to be honest, the trap house I thought was going to be Matt for some reason. It makes sense that it was Frank, but when him and MJ rolled up, I expected it to be Matt. Or
I expected
Frank
to call Matt when he was stuck on the side of the wall.
Yeah. I'm with you. I had expected that too, and it's fine that they didn't, but I don't know why. I kept feeling like he was going to show up. And also,
it was the hand.
Yes,
He was facing the hand.
I thought that too. And also, I can't hardly fathom that all of this is going down in New York and Matt is just somewhere just chilling.
Yeah. No way.
Another thing, little bit of a transition that I loved, was Yelena getting to be in it.
Mhm.
That was fun. Like, it wasn't a big part, but it was fun. The bathhouse scene was hilarious.
I kept asking my sister all day yesterday, "Is this big potato or little potato problem?"
That was so funny. It was kind of like, I'm a new Avenger now, so I'm, like, uppity, which is I'm wearing my new Avengers shirt. You can't hardly see it, but that's what it is. It's got her, Bob, the whole crew on it. But, yeah, I loved getting to see her. That was fun, and, Tom Holland was shredded in this film,
I did
which
like how
always
they did say that she's the new Black Widow, though.
I did too. It made me feel some things.
Maybe we'll see Natasha again.
I know that they only had the one film together, but their dynamic to this day is still one of my favorites. I wish we could have had more of that. Black Widow, to be completely honest, is one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's one of the ones that I watch a lot. Because I love Yelena. I think that one has a great soundtrack. I love that one. And I wish we could have had more of them together.
Maybe the sun will shine on them again in, Doomsday.
Maybe. Maybe.
I mean, we're bringing
Yeah.
Steve
If
Rogers back. Why
I'm
can't
just
we
going to
go to
say I
another
don't care.
timeline and
I-
just snatch Natasha?
just take a Natasha here. Yelena needs a sister. Yeah, I get mad sometimes too thinking about just why couldn't Clint have gone off that cliff? Like, let's be for real. Yes, very sad. Anyway, why did it have to be Natasha?
Because he has to go train Kate Bishop.
I don't care. I don't care. Yelena needs Natasha.
Well, she's got a new friend. She's got Kate Bishop now.
I'm not a big Clint fan, so it doesn't do a lot for me. I do think I want to go see it again. I just don't know when I'll make it there. I definitely want kind of opening weekend to pass. I'm not feeling like going and sitting with another crowd for it. I do wanna go see it again at some point and enjoy it a little
Yeah.
more. I had told Treva after the fact I still enjoyed the movie, don't get me wrong, but I had about a group of 5 girls, I think, next to me that came in right as the credits were starting. They had their phones out taking pictures of the screen like we're at a concert, texting through the whole movie, screaming. The Bad Bunny song came on and they all started dancing and like shimmying their bodies so hard it was rocking the whole row of seats. You couldn't even walk when we got up because of how much popcorn they had thrown in the floor. It was if I wouldn't have had to miss some of the movie to go complain, I would have gone and complained because it was more than just a little bit of annoyance. They were, I mean, just being flat out disrespectful. This isn't your house.
I would definitely go see it again.
We've got about 20-ish minutes left or so, give or take. We're going to go ahead and move into ACOTAR after our Marvel dive, which if you're not following along with that, go ahead and head out. Bye. See you next week. But we are going to go ahead and since today is
Bye.
August 1st, which happy August Day to the Swifties. But we are going to go ahead and move into that. So we're going to go ahead and cover chapters 1 through 7 since that was what the reading schedule was today. And then next week, we'll go through everything that's read in between now and then. So basically, recap we meet Farah, 19-year-old, poor girl, poor human girl, and trying to keep her family alive with hunting and selling things in the market. Her sisters are terrible. Her dad's terrible, which we'll talk more about in a second. She kills a fairy unknowingly. Tamlin rolls up to her house, beats in the cottage door, and takes her to
And that's it.
Perithian. And
Yeah, that's where we end is where he
yeah,
1 through 6 he comes to the door.
hmm so it's mostly a lot of background building with the Archeron family. And some of the things I noted, so I guess just for me, and then you can give your own disclosure, I do come to love Nesta, but I think we can all agree beginning's rough. She's got a good character arc, but I am not a fan of Elaine, and I'm just gonna be upfront about that. I know a lot of people like her. I just don't have respect for her right now, and I'm hoping maybe she might grow later on in the series. But I caught a lot of it in these first 7 chapters that just I just don't, and again, she hasn't really had a forefront like Nesta does later, so maybe Elaine will grow a little, I don't know, or she may just stay the way she does, so I'm just gonna be upfront, I'm not a fan of Elaine, but some of the things that I had made notes of, there was a line, and it's talking about Elaine. 8 years of poverty hadn't stripped her from the desire to look lovely, like, your sister is out there slaving in the woods, and you still need to look nice. And it never occurred to her that she might be capable of getting her hands dirty. So just little things like that, I realized going back just really how poorly the whole family treats Farah, and it's crazy to look back on. And I think her dad's pathetic, and I know he, helps down the road in book 3, but I have no respect for their dad either at all.
Yeah, I'm like the world's biggest Nesta stan, so like Nesta's my girl. And she's not great in the first couple books, which
No.
you can't really blame her, especially obviously you find out later how she grew up, but she does treat Feyre pretty badly. She doesn't do much. I think there's a couple times Nesta is asked to go chop wood, and I think she waits until like the last second and then does
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, because it mentions that she does go do it, but yeah, it's not after she's pretty rude about it, and she does end up doing it, but they it's so crazy how bad they treat her, and Farrah's just doing everything she can to keep them alive, and sometimes I forget that she's the youngest because she's holding that whole house together.
Yeah, and I do have noted, the dad's still a deadbeat, even the second time around.
Yeah.
The dad is such a deadbeat.
One of the things I wrote is he's pathetic. Just I can't even put it another way. He's very pathetic, and he's a
Yeah.
deadbeat, and I get that he
I
has an injury, I understand that, but he does nothing to try to help.
Well, that's because he was borrowing all that money and then couldn't pay it back.
Yeah.
Like, what did you expect to happen?
Yeah, and it gets into that more in one of the sections I read last night. Um, Tamlin's talking a little more about it with her, and it's when she gets into the history of how they came to be. And yeah, the dad just makes stupid and poor decisions, and then they had consequences, and then somehow the youngest child is the one cleaning up the mess.
Yeah. I do have it noted down here. Farah does kill the Fae who looks like a wolf. She skins it, takes it to the market, and then it's interesting to see how both of the sisters immediately are like, Lelaine needs a new cloak. Nesta needs new
Mhm.
shoes, even though Nesta has shoes that aren't like falling apart. And my big thing was, why do you need a new cloak if you're not doing anything? Like, if you're not going outside, you're not, you know what I mean? Like, she has a perfectly fine cloak.
Mhm. I think a lot of it was probably their desire to maintain maybe the appearance that they weren't poverty-stricken, that because Elaine and Nesta, at least from my understanding of the timeline of when the money went, they got to experience living somewhat well-to-do. I don't think they were crazy wealthy, but they weren't poverty-stricken,
Well,
right?
they had enough money for Nesta to go to balls and be
Yeah.
presented to princes and stuff. So,
Yes. Yeah. So they had money to get by, all of that they definitely weren't where they are at this point in time. So I think they had a taste for it and didn't want to accept where they were at, because also in that note, them barking out what they need, not once did anyone say, "What do you need, Farah?"
I'm pretty sure it's after the market or something like that. She gives them the money but they
Mhm.
don't come back with the items that they told her that they wanted.
Yeah. 'Cause it said that one of the things they wanted was not available, maybe, if I'm remembering right, but yeah, I noticed that too on this reread.
I had another note down here that Feyre has said multiple times that she knows the basics of reading and writing. Nesta never lets her forget it. But then we find out later, and I think it's maybe Nesta's book or maybe it's the third book. I don't remember which. She says that she has no idea that Feyre can't read or write.
I don't remember that right now because I haven't you've read them more recently than I have, but that's was that a was she deflecting? Was it not true? Was it a continuity error? I don't know. I'll be interested when we get there to hear what, you know, exactly how it's laid out because that's definitely an inconsistency. Because I do remember in these chapters we just read, Nesta never letting her forget that she can't read and write, which isn't her fault.
Right. And she says that
A
too.
good
It's
older
not her fault. And it's
sister would
also
have.
not her family's fault.
Yeah. And that it gets reiterated too. I don't remember what he says about it off the top of my head. It may be written down, but Tamlin more or less says that too later. This isn't me praising Tamlin. Like, I'm just commenting that it does come up more than once that it's not her fault, that ultimately her priorities were keeping them alive,
Yeah.
which is sad, that that is something that is so basic. She should, have been able to learn, but yeah, I always can remember that her family's pretty crappy in the beginning, but reading it again, it's like, wow, it's very much like Cinderella in a way, but it's her biological family.
Yeah.
And her dad's not mean, he's just a
Um,
loser.
yeah. He is a loser.
Oh, okay, I wrote down a quote that gave me secondhand embarrassment, and I'm gonna tell you how I read it in my mind. It's from her dad. So it's when Tamlin comes in to the cottage, which every time it called their house a cottage, I thought of Heated Rivalry. That has forever changed how I think of cottages. But
Their house was a hovel.
yeah, the hovel. Yes, I forgot about the hovel when he calls it that. I'm sorry. There were like I am not a tampon fan, but there were a couple times rereading this, he's made me laugh. Like, but yeah, the hovel was funny. But anyway, so it's whenever it's being established that he's either going to take Farah outside and kill her or she can come back to Prithian. And her dad is like, hobbling forward to Tamlin and he goes, "Please, good sir, Farah is my youngest." And that's how I read it in my head. He's
Oh,
such a
God.
loser. He is such a loser.
Like, obviously, this is spoilers for like later on in like, I think it's book 3 or whatever, where he comes back and like obviously helps them. But I'm just like,
Mhm.
what the fuck were you doing in the meantime? Like,
I agree. Like, I'm glad he helps in the end, but for me, that doesn't undo all of the stuff that went on.
the
Be-
years.
yeah, because this wasn't a 6-month period they were struggling. It was, I think Farrah says they lost the fortune when she was 11 and she's 19 in this book. So 8 years of this. I think she says she learned to hunt at 14, which this is in the later chapters that I just read. So just yeah, it's insane how he was. And again, I get he had an injury, but there were things he could have done to try to help, and he doesn't. It pretty much just says he sits in his chair.
And then speaking of terrible parents, her mom was also a total C
I
word.
think I think so too. Why did she put that on her like her youngest daughter? Because for me, I feel like it should have been the eldest,
It
which is
see, but then again, it's not just her. So she was terrible to Feyre, But it also sounds like she was also kind of terrible to Nesta
Yeah,
by
I
the way
picked up
she
on that
treated her
too.
growing up, and then Elaine
Mhm.
was kind of just left to her own devices.
Yeah, and that could be why Elaine is just so aloof. Elaine, to me, throughout most of the books, kinda lives in La La Land. She's used to being taken care of, and those kind of things, and maybe that's why, because she was just kinda there, and then Nest is so resentful because, you know, parents and all of that. Like, I can see the way the things with both parents affected each of them differently. And I mean, and that's not an excuse for any behavior, but more of an explanation. And then, I mean, we know Farah and Nesta both have growth arcs, basically, where they get stronger, a little more independent, things like that. Which I mean, Farah's already pretty independent, but more so too later on. And then Nesta, has an incredible character arc as well. But yeah, you can see stuff like that because their mom was no saint either.
No. And then I've got my next note down here. We do meet obviously Lucian when we get
Hmm.
taken over to Printheon to the Spring Court. I have it written down. She literally says she was told before she crossed the wall to not drink the fairy wine. Even before Lucian tells her not to have any of the fairy wine when they go under the mountain in later chapters. So this girl knows, and she's just like, fuck it, throw it out the window.
I'm gonna have me some wine.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because
Lucian
I
is a
want to
piece
say,
of work when we first meet
because I
him
want to
too.
say, when they have dinner for like the first time, somebody pours her a glass of wine.
They do because she's skeptical of it and the food.
I just thought that was like a funny like previous call that she knows not to do it, and then when she goes under the mountain, she's like hamming it up with the fairy wine.
Probably at that point in time, she just has nothing to lose, so she's just tossing it back. I can't wait until we get to all of that because there's a lot of memes from that particular part of the book that I'd like to pull up that I have saved to kind of reminisce on because yeah, it's a lot of that's pretty funny later on. I keep thinking about right now, early on, how she can't see anybody else in the house because I see a lot of memes about, like, it's a lot of jokes about, like, her going around, like, passing gas and, like, talking to herself, not knowing other people are around, like, not that it ever
Yeah.
says she does that in the book, but, like, obviously she's human, like, probably at some point, but it's funny to think about the stuff she might have been walking around doing, not knowing, people or
Yeah,
fairies were
that's
around.
so weird. I do have another note on the topic of Lucian. They talk about how he has a prosthetic eye. I don't know why, but every time they talk about the eye, I picture like this big mechanical like
Do you
thing
picture,
stuck
like
to his
do you
face.
picture Mad Eye Moody?
Yeah,
Because
kinda.
I don't like when it talks about it whirls around.
It's like it's so weird. I'm like, I imagine like this big, large piece, kind of like what is it, like Cyborg?
Yeah.
Like this big like piece there. And I like, and then when people do like the character art, it's like just the eye is just like
Mhm.
gold or whatever. And I was
With
like, that is not how I pictured it.
no. And probably I do think their drawings are accurate, but the way it's described, your brain does jump to stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because there's other things that I picture very differently than it is in the book.
Yeah.
Which now that I'm saying it, I can't think of any off the top of my head as we get to them because I picture the cereal to look a little different than the fan art. Not by much, but we'll talk about the cereal next week because we do get into those. And oh my God, I was
Yes.
stoked when I read it, which again, we'll talk about next week because it's in those chapters. But it is nice. It feels kind of nostalgic going back through some of these things because it has been a while, but 1 through 7 is a ride because you just really just her family is the worst.
Well, and then on top of that, you learn because we're over in Prithia, and you learn about these creatures like the Suriel, and we learn about the bog, we learn about the puka, and we like almost never see these creatures again. I think we see the bog
Mm-mm.
one more time, and then we've never heard of a puka again.
Well, I mean, the only exception would be the cereal because it does
Yeah.
go up through, Wings and Ruin. But yeah, everything else, I had actually forgot about the existence of some of them because we do not see them again.
We see the bog once, and that's,
Mhm.
in the later book.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm enjoying it. It's been
Yeah.
fun to revisit, and I've obviously been taking notes for us to talk about, and then we'll recap, each chapter section. But it'll be very big recaps because we do over the next week read 8 through. Let me pull up our thing and look, which we have on Instagram too. We actually finish the book in the next week.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the rest of the book.
Yeah, because 'cause it'll be done on, the schedule finishes it on Friday, August 7th, but it's only 46 chapters. This first book is not very big, and for some
No.
reason to me, because it's 7 chapters a day, roughly, I've been reading that in less than an hour. I don't know what it is, but something about it's not taking me as long to read as some other books have. So it is a lot, but it's not at the same time. Because then, yeah, we start A Court of Mist and Fury also on August 7th. It's just the first chapter.
Well, we'll recap the rest of the book then.
Pretty much,
I think
yeah.
the only last note I still have on here to talk about is basically Tamlin can fuck off and stop bossing Fair around so much.
Mhm.
He is so bossy.
Yeah. And it's funny, which I've got notes more for the next couple chapters on it. He's bossy, and then there's things that he's not so bad about in the beginning.
It
And
annoys me how much he's keeping from her as well. Like
mhm,
the plague.
yeah. Well, and especially when it comes out that fairies can lie, because
Like
that just blows everything he's already told her out of the water. And I mean, I'll talk more about it in the next episode because it's more of the next couple of chapters, but I
mhm.
do think I do think probably in the beginning, for the most part, he's alright, and then it's when he starts to lose that sense of control over her, that's when, like, the real Tamlin starts coming out.
Yeah.
Because genuinely, in the beginning, like, I wasn't all over him initially, but you don't notice the stuff as much in the first book. Little things, but it's really the second one when he essentially starts holding her hostage and, that control is slipping, and then that's when he rears his head, and I think overall she did a good job masking most of it, and I think on our second read, you catch some of it more
Mhm.
because you already know what his character becomes, but yeah, just ugh. There's a reason he's called Tampon. It I think about sometimes the people that got the Tamlin tattoos after the first book.
I'm so sorry.
Like, you have to be so careful with any kind of book or TV tattoo that's not finished because you don't know what could come of it. But also I don't think for me personally, and this isn't knocking them, but I wouldn't get a character name.
No, no way. As much as I love Cassian, he's on my shit list.
Yeah, Cassian is Treva's man, but she's mad at him. And then Reese is my favorite, just so people
So mad.
know. But I mean, I think about an ACOTAR tattoo sometimes. I have "You Do Not Yield" on my arm, which technically Reese says too, but I got with Throne of Glass in mind. Because if I got an ACOTAR one, I think I would probably do the mountains with the little stars,
Mhm.
maybe. And I also like, of course, "To the Stars Who Listen." I do like that quote too, but I'm not sure if I'll get one. But it would be something safe like that, I think, if I did, or I may wait till they're done, I don't know.
I was gonna say I would probably wait until they're done, just
Yeah.
to be sure.
I guess my only one that's from pop culture that I have that's not finished is my Heated Rivalry one, but I think it's pretty safe because it's their jersey numbers. I guess the only thing is she changes Shane's in this next book from 24 to something else since he changed teams, but I don't think she is. If not, I mean, then I guess, oh well. But, yeah, the Tamlin ones are pretty crazy. But maybe they still like him, I don't know. You know, they could. Maybe
I don't
people
know.
like Tamlin out there, I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I definitely am not one of those people.
I don't know anybody that does, you know, I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, but maybe. So, but we'll dive in with the last of the book next week and hit that up. So I'm gonna pull up our wheel to wrap us up because it is
All
time.
right.
We're gonna do it over ACOTAR, which should be fun. It feels the first tab that opened was my fan fiction I was reading the other day. Let me get to the let me get to our wheel. Okay. Let's see. We've already done this a while back, but let's see if we feel it's applicable for ACOTAR because they have powers. So it was the most likely to survive a horror movie. Do we want to roll with it
Azrael.
or Azrael? Yeah.
Immediately, no question.
No, I agree. I think there's no doubt of it, even though, yeah, everybody's got strength and can fight. I think Azrael would blow through the room like Darth Vader in that scene in Rogue One. When the door opens and Darth Vader's standing there and then he like whoops everybody, that's how I feel like Azrael would be. I don't think
Literally.
any horror movie monster or killer could stand up against Azrael. I think he would wipe the floor with them.
He's a spy master for a reason.
Yes. I kind of need a fanfic on this now.
You're probably gonna have to write it.
I could write it for us. I actually started writing one the other day, but I don't know if I'm gonna wind up publishing it.
There you go.
I was like, well, because I read one and I was sitting there thinking, like, I like the premise of this, but I could do better. So I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with it, but it's been fun to tinker with a little bit. But yeah, I could write us one for spooky season. Azrael. Who would we want him to fight?
Bryaxis.
Yes. We'll make it a horror movie with that.
I
So
would love to know what his fears would be. Like, because we know Cassian at least talks about how it's traumatized him and he can never fully recover and we don't know what he sees.
yeah.
So I'm interested to see what Azrael would see.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see too if we ever get that, but it would be interesting. So there's so many things and even as we, finish this up today, 1st of August, we still have no title or no cover for book
Nope.
6.
Maybe
So
maybe after we get off, maybe today will
maybe
be the
cuz we
day.
keep saying these things and then they speak into existence. So
What is it? What's the Dune saying?
oh, Lisan Al-Gaib.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if we're speaking things into existence, I would like my heated rivalry casting news. I would like that. I would like some more pictures. I want the book cover for book
Okay, you're
6.
you're asking for too much. We wanted ACOTAR.
This is the greed they talk about in the Bible. I need it.
Yes, yes, it is. Okay, like turning into a DC's men over here, like trying to just eat the cattle. They're gonna upset the sun god.
I know I can't. So maybe we'll get one of them. Maybe we'll get something. Honest to God, if any of that came up, like I'm just gonna send it to you and then send Lisa Nagaib, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I will be prepared.
Anything. My pictures, my casting, or anything with that book.
I'm ready for a book cover and I'm ready for a title. I
I am
also
too.
really want to know who it's about, but
I do too. It's very frustrating to me that the book does come out in give or take 2 months and that we don't have anything.
I'm gonna be kind of mad if it's not another Nesta book. To be
I don't
completely honest,
yeah,
we
I
left
don't
that so
know.
open.
Because there's a part of me for some reason that thinks it's gonna be multi-point of view like Crescent City, but I don't know.
I
But
think
because
she said
at one point in time she said Azrael, but that's been a few years.
as far as I thought from the Call Her Daddy episode, it was each person was getting a book. So this
Yeah.
next book is going to somebody, and then 7 is somebody, but it's like I don't know.
I don't
Because this one's
either.
smaller than the first book, 6 that's
Mhm.
coming out.
Yeah.
And then 7th is almost the size of Kingdom of Ash.
Mhm.
And then we know 8, I think, is being written or has been written, and
We
we don't
just
have
don't have a
anything.
date and stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. I just hope that it matches the hardbacks we have.
Oh my god, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
I know, mine are next to me, looking at me right now. So, but until next week, that is all we've got for today. We will go through ACOTAR, we'll do our pop culture news of the week, and seriously, if anything I just manifested happens, like, I am the chosen one. I am Paul
I like
Atreides.
how you say you. You are the chosen one. Like, I haven't said stuff too.
Well, but
Okay.
I mean, but for like this week, like if any of the stuff I just spouted off, and then anything you spout off, you'll be Paul Atreides that week. But we will hop off. So we will see everyone next week. This one was a fun one. We had a lot of things to check in with, which is always a good time. So, all right. Well, bye everyone.
Bye.